So I haven't been talking a lot about Parfums de Marly fragrances on the channel, and you guys have been messaging me, sending emails, leaving comments, asking me to do an updated Parfums de Marly fragrances video. I did one, a top 10 men's fragrances many years ago, probably going back to like 2018. And I've been in the back of my mind planning a video, and I planned to do one last summer, and I kind of just forgot about it. And since the year is coming to an end, I thought I'd put together a video really quickly today and do another top 20. This is going to be the first of two top 20 videos for you guys. This first one is on Parfums de Marly fragrances. There will be another one on Saturday, but today's video is a mixture of men's fragrances and women's fragrances. Men, don't worry, there's less women's fragrances in this list. Ladies, if you are okay with unisex fragrances, I feel like a lot of the men's fragrances do lean unisex, so you can totally wear them as well. But in today's video, I'm going to talk to you all about Parfums de Marly fragrances. So today we're talking about Parfums de Marly, a top 20 list. If you're curious to learn about them, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yeah, today we're talking about Parfums de Marly. Parfums de Marly fragrances. Yeah, I haven't been speaking a lot about the fragrances, although I feel like what they launched early on has been some of the better fragrances. I was a huge fan of it since 2014. Bought my first bottle of Harrod then, and absolutely loved that. And of course then Leighton came out, Carlisle came out, Wajan was out. All of these great fragrances came out, and lately I think they are not as great as what they used to be. But they are definitely one of the better niche houses, probably one of the most popular niche houses as well. And for me, I feel like for the brand, the biggest seller for them is Delina. Sadly, it's a woman's fragrance, but I know there's a ton of fans of Delina out there. Are you a fan of it? Do let me know, put a comment down. And you know, I am actually doing the ranking in this list in a way that if it's Delina, I will mention all three of its, well, I think it's two flankers. If it's Leighton, I will mention the additional flanker and so on. So I'm ranking just the original, and I will highlight the flankers as well. And don't forget that discount code. As I said, I have a link in the info box. It's up to 45% off over at Jomer Shop. I buy a lot from there, guys, and I get some great deals. In fact, I've ordered a ton of stuff recently, and I'm waiting on them. Some of the stuff might take a little longer than other to ship, and of course, it's notified there. So don't forget about the discount code. It's only good until Sunday night, and as I said, it's up to 45% off. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the list. At number 20, we're going to Athalia. This is a lady's fragrance. This one to me is very powdery. It's iris, it's musk, it's orange blossom, incense, and bitter orange. So it has some light smoky touches, definitely very, very powdery and musky. I like this combination of musk and iris together. But there's brightness there with the orange blossom and the bitter orange notes. So the orange blossom, the bitter orange really adds this kind of a very citrus presence in the fragrance. But of course there's the dark notes and the powdery notes and the musky notes here. So Athalia at number 20. That is the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. Next, going to Percival, a male fragrance. This is very blue fragrance for me. Of course, it comes in a blue bottle, and it's totally the right color for this fragrance. It does kind of fit into the line of like Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage and things like that for me. It's very aromatic, it's very fresh. It's got lavender, mandarin orange, bergamot, geranium with violet spices and musk. It's a pleasant wear. It's a kind of a dumb reach fragrance, but I think it has its fans. So number 19, it's Percival. Next, going to Sedley, another male fragrance, this one at number 18. So I feel like they're kind of distantly related. They're not smelling alike, but I think as far as the genre for fragrances go, Percival and Sedley, I feel like kind of like are related. But with this Sedley, we've got spearmint, water notes, geranium, lavender, solar notes, bergamot, sandalwood, cedar, and white musk. So you've got fresh notes in here, you've got sunshiny notes, and watery. You can totally experience the wateriness in here. It just feels like water when you're wearing it. It's liquidy, even though you are wearing liquid as a fragrance, but you can experience it as well. But it's a pleasant, fresh, aromatic, citrus, spicy fragrance, and the spearmint in this one is fairly dominant. So Sedley is at number 18. That's a male fragrance. So moving on to number 17, I am going with Galloway, this one right here. You know, as you can notice, the bottom of the list will be fragrances that I don't reach for as much as the ones at the top of the list. I know there's fans of these particular fragrances, and of course I also put a bunch of the women's fragrances at the bottom because I generally don't have a problem wearing feminine fragrances, but it's not the ones that I reach for the most, if that makes sense. So 17 Galloway, it's kind of a citrus spicy combo with lots of black pepper with aromatic notes. There's citruses here, of course. There's orange blossom. It does have some powdery touches once again, like iris and musk is here. There's amber and sandalwood. Very clean, very easy to wear fragrance with lots of spices and citruses. And I think it's another one of those fragrances that's easy to reach and grab and spray and go on with a day or something. So Galloway at number 17. Then at number 16, we've got another feminine fragrance. It's CASILLI, this one right here. This came out after Delina. I don't think it ever really became as successful as Delina, and CASILLI is a fruity tropical, I would call it a fruity tropical floral fragrance. It features plums with frangipani, red currants, tonka beans, vanilla, floral notes, petalia, mimosa, rose, and sandalwood. So it does have a woody base. It also has lots of flowers. I've read the flowers too, I've mentioned them. It also has this very powdery presence as well, but definitely kind of going into a tropical fruity floral direction. So CASILLI is at number 16, and then another feminine fragrance at number 15, it's ORIANA, this one right here. And ORIANA to me is kind of like Parfums de Marly's take on Love Don't Be Shy. This is a very kind of vanillic, marshmallowy, caramelly fragrance with marshmallow. There's ambrette, there's chantilly cream, there's musk, orange blossom, blackcurrant, raspberry, and mandarin. So definitely you get that kind of a Love Don't Be Shy DNA here, but this particular fragrance definitely has a fruitiness as well. So you definitely have a fruity touch. So if you like the idea of Love Don't Be Shy, you're looking for a change of pace, definitely try this one if you like the idea of the addition of fruits, like the blackcurrant and the raspberry are definitely present here. So ORIANA at number 15, that is a feminine fragrance, and this is another feminine fragrance. It's MELIORA, this one right here, and MELIORA is a fruit bomb. It's very fruity, and it's definitely like true smell of fruits, but lots of blackcurrant here with red berries. There's cassis, there's vanilla, musk, rose, ylang-ylang, and lily of the valley. So it does have fruity touches, lots of them, and there's a bit of greenness in here. The cassis adds this greenness that's really noticeable, contrasted with that syrupiness of the fruits, and of course it's got lots of flowers as well. Kind of a green, fruity, floral fragrance, if that makes sense. It's really, really delicious. MELIORA is at number 14. That is a feminine targeted release. Now we're moving on to another male targeted release. The rest of the list is pretty much going to be male targeted except for one more feminine one more feminine fragrance. This is Calon at number 13. So Calon is, you know, it wasn't one of my all-time favorite fragrances because there's definitely a muskiness about it and a spiciness about it, and a lot of people said it reminds them of Baccarat Rouge, and I kind of don't get that. Maybe I get it very, very faintly, like it's hidden way under there. But for me, it's kind of a musky, spicy, woody fragrance with black pepper, there's spices, there's blood orange, orange blossom, lavender, white sandalwood, moss, and precious wood. So do you guys get that whole connection to Baccarat Rouge? I mean, the color maybe is what makes it that, but I can see it though. I can definitely see it. It's way under there. It's kind of hidden, and it kind of pops through with certain chemistries, body chemistries and things like that. So Calon, it's a bit of an underrated fragrance. I don't think it really caught on like they thought it might, but it's pleasant to wear, but not one of the greats from Parfums de Marly. So up next, going to Kuhuyan, this one right here. Now, this is one of the fragrances that nobody talks about from this house, and definitely it's the second leather of Parfums de Marly. Everybody knows Godolphin from this house, but Kuhuyan is also a leather, but man, it's an animalic leather. If you like it animalic, make sure you check this one out. It's lots of violet with jasmine. There's loads of leather here and tonka beans, and the leather here is very, very rough and animalic. You gotta be into animalic fragrances to enjoy this one. It does have that presence of floral touches of jasmine and violet, but man, it is a very, very rough and animalic leather. You know, a little goes a long way with this one. It's definitely very, very beast mode, very, very intense. But sometimes you're in the mood for a fragrance like that. But at some other times, I'm kind of totally not in the mood for very rough leather like this. But Kuhuyan at number 12. At number 11, it's Haltane, this one right here. So Haltane to me reminds me of a little bit of Oud for, what's the Oud for Greatness, but not the Oud for Greatness, the other one from that brand, from Initio. It reminds me a little bit of that, and also it reminds me a little bit of this one, Calon. So I felt like it was a bit of a redundant release, but I ranked it here because I do enjoy the smell. It's bergamot with lavender, clary sage, saffron, praline, cedarwood, oud, and elderwood. It was launched as a exclusive to Harrods, and I ordered mine from Harrods back when it launched. I think it launched last year. I don't know if and when they launched this everywhere, if they removed the Harrods off the bottle, as you can see right there. But either way, I've got a collector's bottle here. It's a Haltane from the house of Parfums de Marly, and that's at number 11. Moving on to number 10, it's a Castor. A really well done rose and oud combo fragrance. Really long lasting, once again, really intense with oud and rose. There's cypress here, there's geranium, cardamom, musk, and lemon. So it's very aromatic, very spicy, and of course it's jammy rose, but very on the dry side. It's a jammy rose, but the fragrance is very, very dry. There's no animalics here except for like light touches of it, but I wouldn't call this an animalic oud and rose combo. It's very wearable, but intense, and you got to be into oud and rose. A Castor at number 10. At number 9, it's Godolphin, the first leather of this house. As I said, Kuhuyan is the animalic leather, the big rough animalic one. Godolphin is that leather fragrance that kind of goes into that whole Tuscan leather and ombre leather kind of direction. Very, very easy and very wearable leather fragrance. No animalics here whatsoever, but still you got to be into leather to appreciate something like this. But it's lots of leather with musk, saffron, amber, vetiver, vanilla, thyme, cypress, jasmine, rose, and iris. There's definitely a presence of fruitiness in here as well. I'm not sure what fruits they are. Maybe a bit of dried fruits, maybe a bit of raspberry, kind of non-distinct fruits, but they're not listing the fruits as a note on the Parfums de Marly website. But either way, it's a great leather, although I feel like it's kind of redundant with the fact that it reminds us of Tuscan leather. Anyway, Godolphin at number 9. And finally, the last feminine fragrance on the list, it's Delina at number 8, and we've got 3 different variations on it. The first one is Delina, then we had Delina Exclusive, and then we had Delina La Rosée. The La Rosée is a watery, kind of a fresh spring take on the original, whereas the original was that combination of Turkish rose with lychee fruit, rhubarb, vanilla, musk, cashmere, peony, and lily of the valley. So it's a fruity floral fragrance. For me, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Intense Cafe because there's definitely a milky creaminess there, but no coffee vibe whatsoever. Just that there's a vibe in there that kind of reminds me of Intense Cafe. So it's a fun fragrance. And then finally, the Delina Exclusive is taking the original to more of an oudi direction. It's a little darker, it's a little more woodier. I feel like the original is the most popular. I mean, every lady that I know that enjoys Delina enjoys the original Delina. So anyway, at number 8, Delina, and the last feminine fragrance here. And then we're moving on to Pegasus at number 8, and we've got both versions here, Pegasus and Pegasus Exclusive. Pegasus to me is that kind of powdery almond, almost like a barbershop, almondy barbershop fragrance, because it features bitter almonds, vanilla, lavender, sandalwood, and heliotrope. So it's very, very powdery, very almondy, heliotrope and almonds together. It's an almond balm, but with the addition of the lavender in there, it kind of takes me into like a amber fougere direction, but it doesn't really go all the way. And then of course with the Exclusive, it's that same fragrance, but it's darkened and they've added oud and lots of woods in here. Not as powdery and definitely a lot more dense. I think I like both, but I think I prefer the original of this one. I think, once again, I think the Exclusive for Pegasus was not as popular as the brand thought was going to be. And I believe from anyone I've talked to that's a fan of Pegasus prefers the original. Next up, another fragrance that most people don't talk about. It's Nisean, this one right here. Nisean is the Patchouli Amber fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. It's not rough, but there's definitely a bit of roughness in here. It's lots of woods with patchouli. There's saffron, labdanum, pink pepper. There's some floral notes and there's olibanum, so it's got a resinous touch, an ambery base. There's woods and there's leathery touches as well. But a really great, really long-lasting patchouli fragrance. Nisayon is really, really wonderful at number 6. And you know, I have to be honest, this is one of my favorite fragrances from Marly. This is probably the last great fragrance they launched that I really, really love and wear. It's Greenly. It just goes down pretty easy though, but it's a very juicy green apple fragrance and very, very musky and fresh. Features green apples, oak moss, cashmeran, petitgrain, bergamot, musk, amberwood, and pomerose. If you like a juicy, drippy apple, crunchy, crisp as well, and you want that muskiness, the woodiness, the greenness, definitely try Greenly. I really love that one. I don't know why, I just think it's a really wonderful, you know, fresh fragrance that kind of is different compared to like all citruses and aromatics. It's got that fruitiness from the apple. Moving on to number 4, it's Wajan. Wajan is definitely really yummy. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a baklava, like honey drizzled baklava. Dessert, it's kind of gourmand, definitely gourmand, not kind of gourmand. And again, this is a male targeted offering and it's very unisex to me. It's cinnamon, honey, tonka beans, benzoin, osmanthus, vanilla, lavender. There's a bit of fruitiness in there. Definitely vanillic ambery touches, nuttiness and a bit tobacco-ish touches, and very much lots of cinnamon. And Wajan was just featured in a cinnamon fragrances video. If you haven't caught that video, go catch it. But at number 4, it's Wajan. And then at number 3, it's Layton in both forms. I'm ranking them together as I did the Lena and Pegasus. And Layton was probably my 3rd fragrance from this house, and it's a really, really great offering from this house. It's bergamot with lavender, there's geranium, vanilla, there's precious woods, caramelized coffee, amber, pink pepper, and apple. There's definitely an apple-y presence here. There's a fruitiness, really wonderful apple-iness in there. And it's a delicious fragrance. It's very, very long-lasting once again. And I like the combination of the fruitiness, the citruses, the woods, the vanilla, and the aromatics together. And then with the exclusive, once again, they've taken it into a darker direction. In fact, Layton exclusive gets a little animalic because there's definitely a bit of animalic oud in here, but keeping the similar notes and a little more rougher and a little more animalic and not as young and playful like the original Layton is. So Layton exclusive, Layton at number 3. So at number 2, it's Carlisle. This was an instant love when I first got a bottle in Paris. It was an exclusive fragrance to the boutique in Paris, and I really, really love this one. It's sandalwood with vanilla. There's green apples, saffron, tonka beans, and nutmeg. And a lot of people say it kind of is a combination of Herod with Layton. I can see that. It has that kind of a vibe. There's definitely a bit of a tobacco-ish vibe in here, but a really great, really long-lasting fragrance. Carlisle deserves the number 2 spot, and you guessed it if you know me. My number 1 is still Herod. I just really love the way Herod smells. I think it's a great, great fragrance. It's vanillic, it's cinnamony, it's tobacco, it's osmanthus, labdanum, vetiver, incense, and pepper. You know, I left this one off of the cinnamon list. I should have probably added it there, but I felt like, you know, Wajan is the cinnamon king from this house. I left it off, but definitely there's a major cinnamony presence here in Herod as well. And you know what? Really, really love the way this smells. The creaminess, the ashy tobacco, the fruitiness, and the vanilla, top notch and deserves number 1. So Herod is my number 1 favorite fragrance from Parfums de Marly in this top 20 list. It's funny though, I had exactly 20 fragrances from this house, not including the extras from each of the 3 fragrances, Delina, Pegasus, and Layton. So worked out to be a perfect top 20 list. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Are you a fan? How would you rank this list if you had all these fragrances? Do let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. Also, don't forget to take advantage of that 45%, up to 45% off deal happening now at Joma Shop. I think it's a great deal. You know, if you're looking for some Christmas presents, I think best way to get them is on special. I really love deals, and I find a lot of great deals at Joma Shop, so it's happening now. I've got a link in the info box. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.